In this video tutorial, we are going to build this application called Reflow Line Human-Machine Interface. We use the WPF virtual keyboard to provide the means of entering data into a keyboard-less environment. We apply custom templates to render only the necessary keys on the keyboard. For some fields, we show only a numeric keyboard. For others, only letters. The application supports localization, and users can choose among several languages: German, Spanish, Greek, and of course, English. We start by creating an empty WPF project. We will use .NET 10 as framework. Then, we look in the NuGet library and install MindFusion Virtual Keyboard Library for WPF. Next, we need to add a resource dictionary with the styling theme our application shall use. We create a folder called Themes in the project directory. There we add a new resource dictionary file that we call Industrial Dark. We add it to the colors of the application, colors of the main UI, the text, and the fields. Now we will define the structure of the main grid and add a subgrid that defines the first row. We need to add our resource dictionary to the list with resources for the application. We add the controls of the first row in the main grid. This is another grid that represents the header for the application. We have there several text blocks in a panel and a border. The second row contains a stack panel with another set of text block elements and a border. The third row is another grid that contains a few text blocks and a stack panel. The fourth row is one text block that spans to take the whole width. The fifth row is taken by an items control, whose items are arranged in 4 rows that represent the 4 zones. You can customize the appearance and implement as many zones as you need. Each zone is presented by a stack panel with 2 text blocks. Before we design the last grid row, let's add a namespace reference for the virtual keyboard. Once done, we are ready to define the stack panel that holds the keyboard. By default, this panel is not visible and shows only when a given field is focused. Note that all fields from the application, where the user can edit inputs, are wired with an event that shows the type of keyboard applicable for the input, numeric or alphanumeric. Let's create now a subfolder for the keyboard layouts. They are XML files, so we add the first one that we call numeric. If you want to get an idea how to craft the XML tags for the keys, you can use the online keyboard creator tool. There you can experiment with the keys, and when you download the exported keyboard, you will be able to see the code generated for each key and use it in your own app. So, we add now a second XML file, this time for the alphanumeric keyboard, the English version. Let's write some real code now. First, we add the required namespaces and a helper class, zoneSetPoint, that will represent our data. We need some class variables. We have a list with keyboard layout instances that holds the layouts for the alphanumeric keyboard for all languages. We plan to cycle them with the LayoutRingKey feature that is part of the Virtual Keyboard API. So, each time the user presses the layout ring, the control changes the keyboard with the next one from the list. We also preload our layouts. Let's add some data now. Next, we need to handle the events that showed the appropriate keyboard, like onNumeric field focused. There we load and render the numeric keyboard. We also use a small visual trick. We outline the focused field, and for that, we need to find the border of the parent element, which we do in a separate handler method. We also add a similar method to load the alphanumeric keyboard. Let's add some more styling and run the sample. The keyboard appears but has its default looks. Let's change this look with some more styles. You can find the styling sheet with the key classes for the keyboard in the samples provided with the virtual keyboard. They are accessible through the web page. And here we go. The keyboard now has a dark look, consistent with the rest of the UI. We have done a really good job building this sample from scratch. Thank you for joining us, and enjoy coding using MindFusion developer components.